Alright everybody, I'm going to be talking about how to classically condition your dog to the odor that we want it to discriminate against. Now, that's all we're doing. People can try to cut that and explain it however they want, but what we're doing is we're teaching the dog to discriminate towards a certain odor one way or another. So to kind of preface this a little bit, a dog's nose has 20 times more cells in it than we do as humans. That translates to a dog is thousands and thousands of times more stronger in its olfactory glands. It can smell thousands of times better than humans. When we walk into a house, we can smell a stew on the stove. We've been classically conditioned that. We walk in and we smelt it enough over our life that we know that smell and we can relate that to stew. A dog can walk in the house and smell, oh, you mopped the floor today with Lysol. Oh, you also washed your hands with Dawn soap. You also cleaned the counter off with degreaser. I can also smell that stew that you have on the stove that has beef, onions, peppers, everything else in it, potatoes. You can smell each ingredient in that stew. But the thing is, it's not classically conditioned to any of those odors, so it doesn't have an important impact on the dog. It's desensitized to that smell. It has no motivation towards that smell. So if a dog's nose is that strong and that specific, we can teach a dog to discriminate and be motivated towards whatever scent we want it to, whether it be diabetic alert dogs, bird dogs, drug detection dogs, human remain searching dogs, etc. And that's what we're going to do in the first step is classically condition our dogs towards a specific odor. Now, when you positive reinforce a dog towards anything, it takes 4,000 to 6,000 repetitions for it to really become solid in that behavior. Now, it's going to be hard to do 4,000 to 6,000 repetitions by positively reinforcing a dog in the classical way that we think of, click or mark, reward, so on and so forth. But what I do, and I learned this years ago by training hunting puppies and hunting dogs. Everybody has seen these puppy training bowls, right? What we used to do is around this part of the dome, around the side, we would drill holes all around it. And underneath in this little portion here, we would take a rag and we would put drops of pheasant, quail, duck, dove, deer, raccoon, rabbit, whatever we wanted those puppies to search for and get motivated for. We would put that scent rag here when we feed the slurry to the puppies. So at a very young age, we would classically condition them. Every time they would eat, they'd relate that to the smell of their prey, which would kick in that prey drive towards that odor. So whenever we started taking them to the fields and working them on live birds or live animals, they would smell that and then get excited because it reminds them of feeding time. So I carried that over to our scent detection training, and I would go buy 2 metal bowls that you can buy at any pet supply store or farm and home store. These I got from Elite Canine, but you also have them at Tractor Supply, Orscheln's, anywhere local. Walmart has some. But what I did is I took one bowl and I drilled holes in the bottom. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to see, but there are holes in the bottom. Now, this other bowl does not have holes. So what I do is I take one of these canvas bags and I take our training aids, one Q-tip or gauze pad from each scent and put it in here. So this will become a cocktail of odor. So this one bag will have heroin, marijuana, coke, meth, so on and so forth. And it's a cocktail because this will be the stew. The dog will smell this and say, I smell each individual scent. So I will start a dog off with this cocktail. I will then put that canvas bag in the bottom of the non-hold bowl and then simply place the one with the holes on top. Okay, so what I would do here then, I'd put the food in here. The dog will eat the rations and it will smell whatever it's smelling and pair that with the act of being fed. So it will become motivated. Now, in the previous video, I talked about the importance of food motivation and hunger drive. When a dog is hungry, he's going to be highly motivated. And whenever they're motivated, whatever they're doing during that time of motivation, it'll become easier to condition them. So what I like to do is say, if I take 4 cups a day, and that's the dog's daily rations of food, and I cut it in half. The first 2 cups I use during training. Now, during the first 2 cups, I can use for loading the mark or clicker training. I can use it to develop the precursor of find it or search. I can use it to mold and shape the indication on the boxes that you'll see in other videos. But whatever I'm doing, it's only getting half its daily portions in 4 separate sessions. So even though it's still getting the same nutrients a day, he still stays hungry. He still stays motivated for that food. So at the end of the day, I give him the rest of the 2 cups in this bowl, and every bite he takes is just like me sitting there with the clicker and clicking. Every bite he takes, he is reinforcing himself towards that odor. Anybody in positive reinforcement training knows that it takes anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 repetitions to, really solidify that classical conditioning to that behavior. By doing it this way, say a dog takes 24 bites, that means in 1 week he has reinforced himself about 200 times in a week. Times that by a month, that's almost 800 times. So in just a few months, it will have classically conditioned itself to that odor and paired it successfully with the act of being fed while in hunger drive. Okay, and eventually we will move into prey drive during training, but at some point during the session or during the training sessions, we're also going to be pairing that odor during the beginning session. So months will be dwindled down to even more. So you can really classically condition your dog to a specific odor fairly quickly. So this is our first step of training odor with our dogs. So get your training aids, go get you some bowls, drill some holes, make sure you sand and grind any hard sharp parts because you don't want your dog cutting its nose and develop apprehensiveness. But this is a really quick, easy way to successfully condition your dog to that odor.